Hello, hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm well. Is there an echo? No. Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was not an echo. Yes, thank you so much, everyone that's in the chat. Thank you so much for everyone that is joining us on this episode of The Missing Link. And I am so excited to be here hold on, Malik Pollard today. TV. Sometimes I do get nervous, especially when I'm sitting here with greatness.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes,
I
yes.
appreciate that.
And I do mean it because you have pretty much mastered your field that you're in. And it was imperative for me to have you on The Missing Link because you have a story to tell. You're so talented in what you do. You're so knowledgeable in what you do. I've watched you from almost day one, which is almost over 20 years ago. And I've seen your growth. Yeah, and I've seen your growth. And I think that you are truly amazing. So absolutely. And I am so glad to welcome you here to The Missing Link.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here with the link. Sabrina, so the link. Wow, can you believe it's been over 20 years? I'm still trying to wrap all of that in my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, we've been in this game for a minute.
We have.
People don't even know.
They don't know. They don't get it. They don't understand.
We was in this game before social media when you really had to hustle.
Honey, we had AOL dial-up.
Right.
We couldn't hit nobody in the DMs. We had to go drive and meet you.
Exactly. Had to put flyers on cars and all that good stuff, and was on AOL when it was like dong dong.
Flyers on cars. That is so true.
Oh,
like I gotta find me somebody to make my flyer. Let me get 500 in them joints. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We gonna go out on Friday night. We gonna put them on all the cars. We gonna go here.
All of them.
They don't get it. And it's so funny because whenever I do my lives and whenever I talk, and I tell people, I'm like, y'all sitting here looking at me now. I'm like, y'all don't know. Like I've been doing this. Like
right.
I've been around for a long time. I didn't need the show, man. I didn't need the show. Y'all might want to ask somebody. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. That just look, you was doing the show a favor. No, I'm just...
Oh, Malik, I love you. Thank you. Coming from you, that's huge. So I definitely appreciate it.
Every once in a while, people was like, "Was you the one?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm Sabrina's friend." Yes.
So we gonna go ahead and put that out there right now. So yes, that is okay. So Malik pretty much said it. That is exactly how close he and I are. If you guys remember, I know everybody's going to get off of this live. After they get off, they're going to go back and check it out. They're going to be like, oh, yeah. When I was on Ready to Love, guys. Okay, so when I had my friend's date, if you guys can remember, Malik was one of my friends on my friend's date that talked to Sean and talked to Walter. He was there. He was beside Dana. And yeah, he did some questioning. So
yeah, I didn't have the smile then.
Yeah, you had the more
business.
like
it was all business.
It was business.
Right, it was business.
Right.
It was hard. No.
So yes, go back and watch that episode, guys, with Malik. Malik and I, we do go way, way back. And like I said, he's been in this business over 20 years. And right when he pretty much started, I, was right next to him and we were trying to figure this thing out, and we've come a long way. And I'm so proud of Malik.
I got the blackmail footage, y'all, if y'all ever want to see it. No, I'm just joking. Y'all ever want to see it? I got the blackmail footage.
You are so
funny. Holler at me. No.
You are so funny. And he does, though. He does. He knows. Malik knows. Malik has been around.
Look, I know this is supposed to be an interview, but I'm gonna give y'all a quick story that most people don't know. Right? And I think I still have those pictures. But way back, we did a photo shoot with a young Taraji P. Henson, who's from DC. It was either before or right after she did Hustle and Flow. And you were there on set, and I want to say one of your pieces she wore, because we were doing we were trying to do like a Black African queen, like a not really a Nefertiti, but it was more like a Queen Makeba. And one of your pieces back then she was wearing, that was right before or after Hustle and Flow. So that lets you know how far we go back. That also lets you know how Sabrina has been in fashion and doing that for that many amount of years. And a young Taraji Henson, before she became who she is, I think Hustle and Flow really broke her out, because everybody knew her from Baby Boy. But when she did Hustle and Flow and saw that she could sing and saw that she really could bring some emotion, that's really when I think she got noticed, even after Baby Boy. So that's a little story right there. That's why I said I got the receipts though. I got the receipts. I got all the dirt now.
I was so young when I look at some of those pictures. I look back, I'm like, dang, I was such a baby in those pictures. But you had them, man. You had like all the celebrities. I mean, you got them now too. But back then, like starting off, you were getting all the people that were just starting off. And honestly, all those people are some of our favorite people now on the huge big screen TVs. Like
Right.
and it's just so funny how like we've all started, and a lot of us were behind the scenes, and a lot of us don't know who we are and who we were 20 years ago. And they see us now and they're like, oh, that's just Sabrina Saul. That's just Malik with MadFlavor. Like they have no idea that we were those people behind the scenes. It's truly amazing. Truly a blessing.
Definitely. And you know, that was the goal then, man. You know, being from the Washington D.C. area, you know, we were known as a government town, still is known as a government political town, because of that house there on Pennsylvania Avenue. And it just wasn't a lot of opportunities, but there was so much talent. And I was fortunate to you know, be passionate about being behind the camera, and also fortunate to you know, be able to provide opportunities to all the talent that was here in DC. So it was like if somebody called me and said we wanted to do a photo shoot, I got the makeup artist you need to use, I got the stylist you need to use, I got the photographer. I wanted to make sure everybody came along. We walked in there like a team, and showed people, especially, you know, New York was like, oh, if you're not, if it, you know, it's not fashion unless it's New York and that type of stuff. I wanted to show them, oh no, we can bring it. You know what I'm saying? And we're not just bringing it with t-shirts and jeans and tennis shoes. No, we can bring it. We got some designers, and we can give you an image. So
and we made it work.
Yeah, that was the goal then. And to be honest with you, 20 years later, MadFlavor TV, I looked, the first interview we did was in 2002. So 20 years later, that's still the goal. I still tell people, you know, that this is the launching pad. If you're passionate about something, you need to build a reel. You need people to really see you doing it. We welcome you with open arms. And, you know, we're not looking for you to stay here. We're looking for us to open that door and you run the hell through it. That's it.
Oh my God!
Open that door and you run the hell through it. And you know, that's part of the satisfaction I get, is to see so many people run through that door and be Sabrina Soul. Hey, be Sabrina Soul of today, right?
Yeah.
And now look at you.
I know.
So I'm sorry.
Okay, because I was getting ready to say, like, in that one conversation we had, I think you answered like 6 of my questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, don't be, honey, because I keep it, honey. It's so much to cover with you. It's so much to cover. So that's nothing. That's not even hitting the tip of the iceberg with you. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin. Thank you so much for everyone that has tuned in. We did start at 8 o'clock, yes, but we have been chit-chatting, but we are now getting ready to start The Missing Link with Malik Pollard, executive TV producer. All right, so the first thing I would like to ask you, Malik, is who is Malik Pollard?
Oh man, I was born the son of a sharecropper. Nah, see, no, I'm dating myself. People probably don't remember the Jeffersons. That was George was like, I was born the son of a sharecropper. You know what? Lord, who is Malik Pollard? Malik Pollard is so DC, born and raised in Washington DC, but southeast to northeast. Went to Theodore Roosevelt High School, uptown. Went to Morgan State University in Baltimore, HBCU. Shout out to the Golden Bears. And Malik is just I don't know if it's the left or the right side. Somebody got to tell me, but whatever that creative side, I went to school for computer information systems. I was not supposed to be doing this. And a friend of mine was working at BET when they was in DC over there, over in the Brentwood area, in the Black Building. And a friend of mine worked there. He worked on stuff like Video Soul and Caribbean Rhythms and Rhapsody the Basement before Tigger, when it was Chris Thomas. And I got to go see him work, man. And I was like, damn, this is what I need to be doing. And from there, I went to public access. Look, I'm probably gonna skip your question and had another question you was about to ask me. But I went there and started working in public access and started volunteering. And then Malik became, I guess, a TV producer and executive. And so, but outside of that, I'm a Taurus. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to with the float on. Malik is a Taurus, and I love all things pretty. No.
Part-time comedian.
Pretty.
Part-time comedian.
Come on, baby. No, so, but true blue Taurus. I can be bullheaded, but I'm very loyal. And like I said, if you rock with me, I'ma ride with you. There you go. That's me.
So growing up, of course, because you said you were because I actually did information system and decision sciences as well. I did computers and stuff in school too.
Yeah.
And so I get it. So what I'm supposed to be doing now doesn't match up with what I started off doing. But growing up, what did you want to be growing up?
Well, like every little boy, I wanted to make video games, right? That's why I said, okay, I'm gonna get into this computer thing. I'm gonna make video games and all of that. I was that kid that used to take apart the Commodore 64. Yeah, that's how old I am. Took apart the Commodore 64 and used to hack in games and all of that. So I said, yeah, I'm gonna make me a that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make the next Madden or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of like, my dream was to make video games, growing up.
Did you ever get to make one video game?
I hacked a lot of them, but not. You know what? When I stopped getting interested in making video games. So the very first game, like, so when you learn coding, the very first thing you learn to code is Hello World. I don't know if you remember that, when you got to code it and you got to do the Hello World, and then it respond back to you, hello and whatever. And then back then it was all bits and binary. So think about that old game. Think about Atari. Like, think about Atari and how the games used to look so whack, and how you had that first game, it was like the 2 lines and the ball, and it was like boop boop. And so I was like, when I actually started working in college, and we was doing stuff like that, and I was like, this is kind of not like what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wanted to make the metaverse back then, but there was no metaverse.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, nah, I'm I'm done with that. But I was already doing computer information systems, and computers is such a vast field, so there was so many different things to do. And at that point, it was like, your parents was telling you, you know, you want to change your major. Nah, we're not doing that. so
Yeah.
I full steam ahead. I said, okay, I guess this is what I'm a graduate being in CIS.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
get it. I remember those days in the computer and like the hello world, like you said, with the floppy disk, and then it was like you're typing in the coding and the screen was all black, but it was like the letters were green, and then you had the cursor doing like this at the very end.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's old school. And we had like the floppy disk with the little circle in the middle, and if you bent it, it was wrapped, you messed it up.
Exactly.
They don't know about those days. The struggle.
Oh yeah.
Struggle was real. So, okay, so you wanted to be a gamer or hack games or make games growing up. So what do you do now? What did you end up becoming, the Malik Pollard now?
Well, you know what? There's two sides of Malik Pollard. There is still the computer guy. You know what I'm saying? That there's still the computer nerdy guy that does some coding and application support and cybersecurity and all that. So that guy is still there. But the other phases of Malik is definitely in entertainment. I mean, that's my passion. That's what really, really gets me excited. Even putting in those long hours or whatever, I'm still excited about it. I'm still passionate about it. And so the entertainment TV producer is the Malik Pollard that most people in the social world know. The other Malik Pollard is just wears that hat when necessary. But that hat quickly goes off, and then I put on that producer hat. Yeah.
So, and it's so crazy because you haven't mentioned it, but because I know you and I know what you've done, I'm just going to be skipping, and we're just going to go, and I'm just going to be asking questions because I also know that you had and owned and created magazines, some of the hottest magazines, because I was in some of them.
Right. Still got that stuff.
Yes. So what magazines did you also create? And because we know that you're still in TV and film now, but the magazines that you created, do you still have those magazines? Do you still work on magazines?
So it's funny you say that. So I'll start from the beginning. Yeah. So, and you're right. I haven't mentioned everything that I've done throughout my career in entertainment. Like I said, I was one that I knew there was so much talent in the Washington, D.C. area. So because I was doing MadFlavor TV, a lot of magazines would, and I had access to celebrities. A lot of magazines would reach out to me, and they would ask me if I could set up something for them where, a photo shoot or interview, or even some magazines was like, yo, we can use your interview and just kind of transcribe it and turn it into something. Right. And when they, when people ask, I would say, well, you know what? I'll do you one better. I'll get you the interview and the photo shoot, but my team has to work on it. And then, at that point, I didn't have a team. I was looking around, and then I was like Sabrina or Tina or Latanya or whoever. Hey, guess what? We just became a team. You know, we
Right.
like Wonder Twins activate. You know, we about to
Right. Activate.
and so, but in doing that, I still was frustrated because the opportunities, they were there, but they were far and in between. And so I said, you know what? I had an opportunity to work with John Blassingame, who did
Black
uh,
Men Magazine.
he did Black Men's Magazine, but he also did Right On.
Yeah.
And he also did a women's magazine. So most people remember John because of Black Men's, because back then you had King and Smooth and Black Men's, and it was all about, you know, the TNA or as they called it, the video vixen type of thing. But he had other magazines as well, and he also published or helped people distribute and publish magazines. So when I got with him, you know, I was telling him about, hey, a fashion and entertainment magazine called Elan Extreme, and there's an idea, and so from that's when I created Elan Extreme, and then I did get sucked into, because back then, you know, I hate to say that our people don't read. You know, we just all about the pictures, but the magazine is a back then was a very it was a lesson learned for me on the business side. The creative side was easy. The business side was something else. And back then on the shelves in like the 7-Elevens were the Kings and Smooths and Black Men's, and it was so many. DJ Slay had a magazine. It was like so many. It was like overly saturated. And so I fell into that. You know, I started Touch Magazine, which was kind of like that, but I still wanted it to be fashion. I just didn't want it to be like some raunchy or whatever. And I really liked how Smooth did it. King was good because they were able to get a lot of celebrities to do it, you know, like a Megan Good and those Trina and those type of people were in King. But I like the way Smooth did it because Smooth made it fashion. It was sexy, but it was fashion. And I was like, that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be sexy, but I still wanted to be fashion because I still wanted people to look at it like they would look at a swimsuit magazine, you know, a white swimsuit magazine or whatever. You know, so I wanted to be like the Vogue of TNA. So I did Touch, and I did Elan Extreme magazine, and then I worked with other magazines. I worked with Rides, I worked with King, I worked with Black Men's, obviously because of John, and so I worked with Uptown magazine, which, you know, they were out of Baltimore. So I had worked with other magazines, and like I said, whatever content that they wanted from me, I made sure that my people was involved some way, somehow.
Yeah.
So
You sure did.
Yeah. But the magazines back then was a hard business, and now, you know, everything is kind of like
digital now.
Everything is digital. News and information is so quick. But I've been thinking about bringing a fashion magazine back, Sabrina. So, you know, I still feel like, you know, there's a lot of fashion out there that people aren't seeing, and structure right, you know what I'm saying, especially with this digital age, it could still work. Yeah, it could still work now.
Because, you know, they say stuff always comes back around.
All comes back around. Yep, it definitely does.
You know, it's not about reinventing the wheel. It's about switching it up and switching the game up and bringing something old and making it into something new. And, you know, and I already know how your brain works. So whenever you need me, I'm here for you, honey. You know, I got you.
All right.
So because you are an executive TV producer now, you did talk about the magazines because that was a huge part in the beginning of your success. And I did want you to briefly touch on that because a lot of people think, okay, this is an executive TV producer, so you just did TV. No. Like, you did a lot of things, and those magazines were some of the big things to actually help put you on the map as well. And I did want you to talk about that. So in the production part of it, how did you learn to become a TV producer? Like, did you go to school for it? Is it self-taught? You were like, nope, I went and bought me a camera and I just started shooting. Like, how did it start? How did it originate with you?
Yeah, I mean, after just kind of like watching my friend over at BET do his thing, I said, okay, again, I can't change my major and start over, but there has to be some avenues out there, and public access was an avenue that most people that was out there available to anyone and everyone, and still is, but most people didn't know about it. And so I took classes, on field production, on studio production at a local public access station, actually in Arlington, Virginia, is the station that I took classes at. So I learned about 3-point lighting and learned about all of that. The first class they teach you how to roll cables. I was like, I felt like I was like me trying to do video games, like, okay, rolling cables. This is not what I want to do, but it's a process. It's definitely a process, right? And so and then I started volunteering. You know, Rarely anybody watches public access because it's always talking head shows or whatever. But I volunteered on people's shows so that I could learn. And the big thing about it is, wherever you live, by law, cable has to have a public TV station that's geared towards the community that it serves. And so all you have to do is, as a resident, go down there and take classes. Back then, classes was like $30. I mean, I don't know what they are now. And we were learning on some pretty shitty equipment. But now, I go on some public access stations and I'm like, damn, what I'm saying? Can I borrow that camera?
Right.
But that was it. That's how I started. And after volunteering, I decided to buy my own camera. I decided to start producing my own content. I don't know if the next question is like, what's the first thing I produced?
Nope.
So I don't want to go too far ahead.
No,
But,
you can go ahead. I'll just mark that off the list.
my God. So,
Yeah.
funny thing is, my cousin had married a comedian from Atlanta, and he moved up to the DC area, and he would talk about how the Atlanta comedy scene was such a family, and this was back when you had like your Samoas and your Bruce Bruces and your Arnest J's and all of those from the Atlanta area, and they were like a family. So it was almost like if you've seen Fat Tuesday, when Guy Torrey talks about the Comedy Factory or whatever in LA, how he would just bring the black comedians on. So the same type of thing, but in Atlanta. So when he got here, although there were comedians here, but there wasn't really a lot of avenues. The only place that was really around back in those days was like Jokes on Us. In Laurel. That was like the only black comedy club in the whole Washington, D.C. area, and this was Chocolate City. So, but, it was still kind of like a crabs in the barrel thing. So, me working at a public access station, he and I had this big idea. We should do a sketch comedy show. This was kind of like after In Living Color, and after In Living Color, there was no black sketch comedy shows on TV. Think about that void that was there. So we actually started a sketch comedy show called Flavors, A Taste of Comedy, and that's what it started. And because he was so strong in the Atlanta scene, anytime a comedian or somebody would come in the DC area, we was able to get interviews. So I was able to interview like Paul Mooney and like Witherspoon and a lot of them, and I was able to interview them, before they went on their shows or even at Jokes on Us. And so after a while, we created this show, and it was, Flavors of Taste of Comedy. And I wasn't just thinking DC. So, what I would do is I would do something what they call bicycling. And bicycling is, I may not be a producer at a public access station in LA or in Atlanta. But what I would do is I would call producers in Atlanta or LA and say, hey, you got a show? Yeah, I got a show. How about I produce your show in the DC area? And would you produce my show in your area? So that's how our show went from just being in DC to now Atlanta, to now LA, to now New York, to now Chicago, because I would literally go through, I let my fingers do the walking in the yellow pages. I would find out the list of producers at these public access stations, call them up and say, I'm willing to get your show in the DC area if you're willing to do the same. Because all you needed was a sponsor, because you had to be a resident. And so we did that. We had these interviews. We weren't using the interviews. We were just using the drops, because we figured if celebrities was like, watch the show, you watch the show, right? So we would do these drops. And then people started asking, well, hey, people, publicists would be like, hey, the interview you did, where can we see it? And I'd be sitting there like, oh, you know what? You can see it in LA on this station. So I quickly had to make an interview show. And guess what it was called? It was called MadFlavor. So we just took Flavors of Taste of Comedy. We took the flavor off. It was MadFlavor. That's how MadFlavor started.
Wow.
That is how it started. And then when we were doing that, record label, so back then, you reported this was back when you got to think about when there were shows like 106 in Park and Total Request Live on MTV or whatever, music video shows. And so music video shows had to report their playlist just like radio reported their playlist. So every week you have to report to all the labels what music videos you're showing, and all of that, just like radio reports their playlist. So if you ever wonder why you hear a song 100 times a day, that's why you hear it 100 times a day, because they're charting it. And so the same thing existed with videos, and so we started getting calls from record labels like, hey, would you play this video? Would you play this video? And I was like, sure. And then from there, we started getting interviews at record pool meetings. We started getting invited to when people go on promo tours, and just off of me reporting our playlist, we was just interviewing, I guess celebrity after celebrity, artist after artist, and MadFlavor was born. And here it is, 20 years later.
What's crazy is all these years I never knew that. Like I never knew how it got started.
That is how it started.
That is crazy. And then look what it turned into.
It has a life of its own. I feel like the Godfather. Like I can't get out of it. I'm stuck.
Because it keeps evolving. It keeps evolving.
It keeps evolving, and there's always someone who's like, who is trying to break that door. And like I said, I would tell people, again, hey, I'm doing an interview with such and such from Universal. You're a singer, right? Yeah, I'm a singer. Guess what? You about to do this interview so you can meet the execs or the road manager or this. A lot of people got caught up in meeting a celebrity, and I was like, nah, that's not why we doing it. No. We doing it because we trying to meet that executive behind that celebrity. Because you're a singer, right? And if you're a singer, this is me opening the door.
Like, people don't understand. I'm going to say it. I'm going to speak to you guys directly, the ones that are watching now and the ones that will watch the replay. Malik, for real, I should have put Malik dash the plug, okay? I should have put the plug, because Malik, because he made you think outside of the box. He made you think bigger than what was in front of you. And it's like, I remember when in the beginning when I started, I didn't get it. I did not get it until I got older, years passed. And I think we bumped into each other like 10 years later, and we sat down and we talked, and I was like, dang, like I didn't get it, I think I even apologized to you and everything. And I was like, yo, do you remember that?
Yeah, no, look, folks, let me tell you another story. And this is an example, of just my thought process, right? The first interview I think that Sabrina did with the show MadFlavor was with Shamar Moore. And I don't know if he was, well, I know he was doing Soul Train, but I guess he wasn't doing soap opera stuff no more. He was becoming a big deal. Mm-hmm. I mean, at least I know amongst women, y'all thought he was a big deal. And so she did an interview with Shamar Moore. But the ironic thing about it was, and this is my point, it wasn't really so much about doing the interview with Shamar Moore. Now it's great because, again, doing the interview with Shamar Moore is going to give you credibility. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are going to look and listen and be like, well, how's Sabrina's interviewing Shamar Moore? She must be somebody. But the event itself was a fashion show. Mm-hmm. And Sabrina was in fashion. Mm-hmm. And so that's the connection. Yeah. You know what I mean? Shamar Moore was just the icing on the cake. Right. But it was a fashion show, and Sabrina was in fashion. So if it's a big major fashion show going on in DC and they got enough money to get Shamar Moore to come and host, then MadFlavor need to be there. Now, who am I going to get to host this? Oh, somebody that does fashion.
Yeah, it was an amazing show. I remember that, man.
I think I threw it up on the TBT, like when you first started, when your season first started.
You did.
I was like, yeah, we really don't know who's on this show. But no, so really, that's just a story of the whole what made why we did it in this little old black town, chocolate city town of DC.
So what does MadFlavor do now? You are an executive producer. You have MadFlavor. You also have Motion Pixels Media. So what is Motion Pixels Media? What is MadFlavor? What do you do within those businesses?
So MadFlavor TV, we still do. We don't show music videos like we used to. The whole game has kind of changed. The whole music changed after Napster and people streaming and things like that. So, as you saw, a lot of networks and shows shifted or pivoted, and they stopped doing as many 106 and Parks and music video shows. Now, if they showing that, they show it like in the morning or something like that. Mm-hmm. So of course, MadFlavor had to pivot as well, and that was because labels weren't really putting that push into artists like they used to and doing promo tours and stuff like that. So we did pivot, and we didn't do as many. We don't show as many music videos now. I will show music videos of independent artists because, again, MadFlavor still at its core is about helping people, be able to, giving the opportunity for people to be able to walk through those open doors and get exposed. Now, having said that, because there might be some publicists and stuff on here like, oh, you don't really care about our stuff. No, we care about your stuff. Because we are on 4 streaming platforms. We still are on Comcast, Xfinity, traditional cable, and Verizon Fios. So we still have 22.1 million viewers nationwide, and we still even, I would like to say, help break new artists out, as far as artists that are kind of established, and and then bringing to our fans and our audience news and information about some of your favorite personalities that you watch. So we still do that, but at our core, we are still about providing opportunities and open doors. We are still, and And it's happening. It's happening. I just had a young lady who was just on All American Homecoming. I posted it on my IG. She, she hosts the show. She was Miss Teen USA or something like that, and then she got on the show, got with a speaking role. And like I said, we still go through two events like American Black Film Festival and stuff like that, and it's still about networking. It's still about networking and building relationships. Now, it's not on me to, to get people to network and build those relationships. I am MadFlavor is what got us in the building, right? MadFlavor got us in the building. At that point, it's time for you to shine and talk to people, build relationships, build those networks, and that's what I do. So that kind of spun Motion Pixels Media, because when the pandemic hit and a couple other things that happened in my life, divorce and stuff like that, I kind of started to refocus on my passion and some of the things I did, and I decided, and I also said, you know what, I've helped a lot of people, and I know that God blessed me to do that, but I'm gonna be just a little more selfish, because I also have dreams that I want to do. I kind of want to start producing movies and series and stuff like that. And so I said, I've opened these doors and never really thought about, what I'm saying, doing what I've been telling other people to do. And so although I have built relationships, I've never asked for anything or inquired about anything that I was really interested in. And that's what I did. And I created a production company, Motion Pixels Media, myself and my business partner, Joe Dyer. And so that was our goal, is to get more into television and film. And we've been fortunate to to help produce some films. And I've been fortunate to be able to be DP and assistant director and on some films and some projects. And so, that's where that kind of spawned. And now at this point, we are also looking at ownership, because I will tell you guys, anybody out there who's been thinking about doing a film or whatever, with all these streaming platforms, it's about ownership. Like, they are hungry for content. Yeah. So if something's been holding you back, don't let it hold you back. It's way too many streaming platforms out there that's looking for content. And as long as you own it, you can license it and distribute it 100 times over. Think about a show like Martin. It keeps coming on every different network because it keeps getting licensed. It keeps getting distributed. And every time it gets licensed, every time it gets distributed, that's a check. I hope I answered it, because I know I get long-winded.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's good to know, because I'm sure a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't, like, it's so much. And that's why I always say, like, we have to get out this crabs in a barrel mentality, because it's so much room for everyone, all of us. And you said it, and the key word, like you said earlier, is networking. And I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna let you guys know. I'm gonna let the viewers know. It is something that I've said previously before, but Malik is the one that told me about Ready to Love. I would not have been on the show if Malik had not slid in my DM and slid me the flyer. Malik didn't get me on the show. I got myself on the show. The only thing Malik did was slide the flyer. Hey, we're looking for singles in DC. He slid me the flyer. That's what he did. But because
she gave the same response that everybody does. I ain't doing no dating show. They're going to be all in my business. I ain't trying to. I said, look. I said, look, first of all, Sabrina, you need love. So first of all, you need love. And second of all, I'm going to keep it 100. And, I don't care if some network people are on. Second of all, there's no such thing as bad press. Any press is press. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, I've watched the show from the beginning, And you know, nephew Tommy would never admit it, but you know, when the show went to Houston, I said, you know, this show needs to be in DC, right? You need to come to Chocolate City. And then all of a sudden, the show was they were casting for it, and I said,
Wonder where they got that idea from.
All by themselves. But no, I was like, hey, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but networking is key. You said it, and that's, you know, a lot of people don't realize that. And making sure like you don't burn your bridges, and you just never know the people that you're talking to and the people that you meet. Because I know after the show ended, and I'm gonna keep this 100 too, Malik, because we are in DC and because Malik is who Malik is a business guy. Malik, when he sees opportunity, he's going to go and he's going to grab it, and he's going to bring up anybody he can with him for that opportunity if it makes sense. So I know that opportunities start to come up after we did the show, and Malik started to reach out to the castmates. And, you know, people were kind of looking like, this Malik guy. And I'm like, let me tell y'all something. Hey. I'm like, for those of you who don't know in real life, because y'all don't know about this life, I do. And I need you to understand that Malik is the guy. And if Malik passes you something, some information, an invite to a party, XYZ, it means you need to be there.
I was like, show was over. You know, I don't care if some people was in their feelings or whatever. I was like, okay, it's go time. Y'all ready to get paid? Like, y'all ready to do some stuff?
Yeah. So Malik yelled at me a couple times.
But, you know, it was like, because in this area, again, because this area is still making its headway with as being looked at as an entertainment entity, seriously, as an entertainment spot. You know, when red carpets and stuff was coming up, I was like, okay, so what's your next move? Like, the show is over. Now here's the opportunity. So now, yeah, hit some red carpets, you know, hit some events or whatever, because at that point, you know, that PR is going to be critical. So yeah, if a red carpet was coming in town, I think it was like Money. I can't remember what it was, but I know in the movie,
with Remy Ma
was in it. Huh?
What is it with Remy Ma?
Oh, that was the Big 50. Yeah,
okay,
Big 50 was one. But then yep, and that came on BET. But then there was another movie with like
I remember what
you're Young Fly was in it. Carrie Hilson was in it. Rotimi was in it, and they were having a premiere in Baltimore. And Sabrina's right. I hit every cast member and was like, they looking for, because again, in the DC area, there's no, I won't say there's no A-listers, but it's hard to find A-list talent that live here. They live in other places. So I was like, they need talent for their red carpet. So I hit every cast member and was like, you know what I'm saying? Them optics on Getty Images. You know when you was on Getty.
I know. I was nice too.
Is huge.
Yeah.
That is huge. And Getty don't play. Getty sells an image for like $700. Like,
I almost shedded a tear.
I almost shedded a tear. Wire service. So I was like, if you can get one of their photographers to take your picture and that thing show up on their wire service, come on. You can't lose.
When I got my first Getty image, I was in this joint doing cartwheels, and I didn't post it until after the show aired, because I was like, I can't believe I have a Getty image. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I know it's not a big deal to some and to most, but for me, it was a big deal. So it definitely made me feel some type of way. But a lot of people don't understand, like, Malik is that guy. Like, when y'all see those producers and TV producers and photographers and stuff on these red carpets, like, tell them what kind of award shows that you literally have been to and you have worked on the red carpets.
Oh God!
They need to know how big. They need to really understand how big time you are.
No, really, I'll do it really quick. So I worked BET Awards. I've probably worked every BET award show, hip hop, Soul Train awards. I work Essence Festival every year. That's probably one of my favorites. I've been doing that for like 9 years. So I was there the first year Janet was there. I was there the second time Janet was there. And hell, she gonna be there again this year. And I'm gonna be right there with it in control. Oh my God. So I've done so of course I've done Essence. I just did Essence Black Women in Hollywood Awards. I did my first Grammys. I mean, not Grammys, my first Oscars
Yeah.
this year, my very first.
I
So
know.
you can't look, and I've been doing this for 20 years, and I was flipping out on that one. So I did that. I said Soul Train. I've been on so many red carpets. I did Tyler Perry's grand opening of Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta. I will probably say that that is one of my favorites events, because history was made. That was history when he opened up his studio in Atlanta. That was history. And I wanted to cry, because sometimes in your lifetime you just don't think you would ever see it in your lifetime. Like, I didn't think I would ever see an Obama in my lifetime.
That's
right?
what I was about to say, the same way.
But I've done NAACP Image Awards, and I'll tell you this, because I've been looking at old footage. I didn't realize I had an interview with Obama before he was President Obama. He did something at the NAACP Image Awards when he was a congressman. And those type of things, when I go back and look at, I just be mouth wide open, like, I can't believe I did that. Yeah. A good friend of mine told me, he was like, "Yo, you're sitting on gold and you don't even realize it." And I didn't understand. He was like, "Why haven't you logged all of your old footage and digitize it?" Because you know, shows like Unsung and all these biopic shows or whatever, they look for that, and they look for archival footage, and he's a producer. He's produced with BT and some other stuff, and he basically told me, you're sitting on gold, you don't even realize it. And then when I saw it again, when I got confirmation, let me say, on that, is there was a show that came on Hulu about Von Dutch. It was The Curse of Von Dutch or something like that. And a picture came on. They had a picture that they showed. It was me and one of the hosts of MadFlavor TV, Tamiko Thomas, in the picture, interviewing one of the guys from Von Dutch. And it came when the biopic came on Hulu, I was sitting there like, and because whoever the photographer was that took the picture, obviously he probably got paid off of it. But I was like, damn, if they had just reached out to me, I could have gave them the whole goddamn video. You know what I mean? I mean, if you got the picture, I got the video.
Right.
And so, God, so we've done so much stuff, man. I mean, we've done so much stuff, like from festivals and award shows, red carpets, and we've done so much interviews.
Right. So name some of the celebrities that you've interviewed. Honey, we could be here all night, but I'm not saying all of them.
Yeah, no, you know, because I tell people who haven't I interviewed. Like I said, I didn't realize that we interviewed Obama. But you know, I looked at the old footage and I was like, and we interviewed Obama. I mean, so I've interviewed Cardi B. So I've done Super Bowl. I've done probably 4 Super Bowl events. I did one when it was in Dallas, when they first built the stadium. It was Green Bay and Pittsburgh. I remember because Black and Yellow was out at that time. So I've done Super Bowls. I interviewed Cardi B at the Super Bowl in Atlanta, because she performed at the Budweiser Music Fest. I've interviewed people like Magic Johnson, Allen Iverson. I mean, from athletes, Tracy McGrady. I interviewed Bernie Mac. I've interviewed. Let's talk about recent stuff. Megan Good. I just interviewed. Carrie Hilson a bunch of times, Tank a bunch of times, Chris Brown, Megan Thee Stallion, Jesus, the baby. I'm trying to think of who people like, because I can go back to old people and y'all be like, who? But you know, I've interviewed so many people that it's crazy. Like I said, we just did the Black women in Oscars. Did not interview Will Smith. That would have been classic, especially with everything that went on.
Right.
But when his manager Charlie Mack used to do this event in Philly every year, so I've interviewed Will Smith before, just not a latter Will Smith. But you know, shoot, I've interviewed so many people. Gabrielle Union, I don't know, name somebody.
Right.
Who, and I can tell you I interviewed him.
He's probably interviewed him.
Yeah, it's been so many. It's crazy. It's like it's crazy. It's been so many.
Yeah.
You know, so and I got some lessons. I had the opportunity to interview 50 Cent when he first came out. The All-Star weekend was in DC that year. He first came out. Wankster didn't hit the radio airwaves yet. And they wanted me to go down to, it wasn't called Echo Stage then. I think it was called DC Tunnel back then. And they wanted me to go down. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, I ain't trying to go. The next week, his song came out. Wankster came out on the radio. And I have not interviewed him. He probably like, I remember your ass. 50 would be somebody who will remember. But I've interviewed Method Man, Redman. Hell, Meth and Red Meth are coming back to DC. I'm trying to set that up now. But yeah, I've interviewed so many people, man. Shoot, you know what I mean?
No, you really truly have. Like,
yeah.
I mean, the list goes on and on, and because y'all have to understand, this is over 20 years.
20
so
years.
It's so many. So yeah, you're gonna get tongue tied and trying to figure out the names because it's so many, and you're just trying to go through your mental Rolodex. You know, if it was like 20, you'd be like 20, then it would be easy. But because you have hundreds and hundreds of celebrities that you know, that you've worked with, you've interviewed,
I mean, I can give you my top. I can definitely give you my top 3. You got to add Obama on there, and he wasn't on my top 3 because I didn't even remember that we had it. But in my top 3, Magic Johnson was one, and let me tell you why. Because Magic Johnson was or it still is, such a business person. And I remember that interview. We were in LA. I remember that interview. And, you know, he had put out, Starbucks. I think he had a deal with Starbucks. And of course, he had already had like Fat Burger and some other things that he was doing. And he had his Magic Johnson theaters. And at that time, so in the DC area, we used to have the Capitol Center. And then, when the Bullets, who became the Wizards, moved into DC, that whole area in Largo, I don't know what they call it now, it was Largo then, but that whole area was nothing, just nothing. And of course, PG County being one of the richest counties for Black people, we didn't have anywhere to go or do, which is crazy to me. So we did the interview. Dave Bogan did the interview in LA. We're talking to Magic. And I said to Magic, off camera, I said to Magic, I admire you and the things that you're doing for the community in LA. I said, I would love to see somebody take an interest in my county, in Prince George's County, and build on some areas that were just barren. And I swear, within 2 years, you had the Starbucks in Hyattsville, across from PG Plaza, when there was nothing over there. You had the Starbucks there. You had the Starbucks that was on Georgia Avenue in DC, where up against the wall and all that used to be by Howard University, across from the McDonald's. Before gentrification, folks. You had the Starbucks there. Then you had Magic Johnson theaters that came to Largo. And that was the flagship when they built the Cap Boulevard, which is now the hotel, which is not the hotel, which is now the hospital. But Magic Johnson Theaters is still there. And I feel like
that was because of you.
Just like Nephew Tommy and Ray to Love.
I feel like
Magic Johnson might have been like, there might be some real estate.
Yeah. Because he sure did come and built that whole area up.
All the way to Prince
like
George
it happened overnight. I remember.
Yeah. And
Because I was looking at
my thing about it was I was so, again, it was another moment where I just was like, had happy nerd tears, like, yo, because I'm born and raised in DC, and I know before, again, pre-gentrification, I know how businesses was running and vacating out of our areas. Because I remember when like Prince George's County had like a Victoria's Secret and all of the big stores, and then you turned around and it was all shoe stores and
right,
buying gold and silver places.
right,
It was like they were vacating, and
right.
and forgive me, but I don't want to spend my money there. But I also didn't want to have to run to Virginia to spend my money. I
Yeah.
wanted to spend it in my county. I don't switch this whole conversation, but
It's
but
okay.
he was
This
a
short.
top one. He was a top one for me. So top two, I got the interview. They own New Millennium Studios down there. They used to own New Millennium Studios down there in Richmond, in Petersburg. It was the guy from WKRP. Him and his wife, played the second mom on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I can't remember their names at this moment, but they were the first blacks to open a studio right there in Richmond, and that's 45 minutes away from me, an hour away from me. And they were the only studio that had a White House setup. So all the major, all the companies, when they had to film like House of Cards or whatever, that's where they filmed it. Most people didn't know it, and they gave us exclusive access.
Wow.
It was one of the best interviews we ever had. That's top two. And then the third one, the third one was probably like LL. I interviewed LL a few times, but I think LL, that was a really good one. He always was gracious, and he always remembered us. It didn't matter if we didn't see him for 2 years. He always be like, MadFlavor, and I was like, how does he remember us? But that's when when people are genuine. Because there's some people I've interviewed 100 times, and maybe they say, damn, he looks familiar, but they act like they don't know me. Like it's always like new to them, and I'm like, did I just interview you like 2 months ago?
Right.
So that was probably my top three interviews of all time. And then, like I said, then I started looking at old footage and started adding to that list. But
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you also work on movie projects. Like Malik is the guy behind the scenes. He does DOP. So what that is, it means director of photography. So Malik is the guy with the big camera and he's shooting these movies. So how about, because I know you've done a few movies, so let's talk about the last movie that you shot. Like, what was your role in that position? Like the movie that you shot, what did you do within that movie behind the scenes? Because people won't know that Malik is on the lens, Malik behind the lens, and that's actually his name on Instagram if y'all want to find him. They don't know because you're behind the scenes. So kind of let them know, give them an idea of what exactly takes place on a movie set in which you do as DOP.
So I will tell you this: the last project that I worked on, I guess I can talk about it because my IMDb credit is out there. The last
I've checked, it's on there.
Yeah. So the last project that I recently worked on, I had a gracious opportunity to work with Megamind Media on a BET Her project. So they do an initiative every year with BET Her that's related to women's health. And so it's the couch and the waiting room. So the couch is more about mental health, mental wellness, and they tackle issues with that. And so had an opportunity to work under director for those two. Megan Good was one, and then the other was Tashina Arnold. I'm sorry, the other was Notori Nodden. And so they were the directors. And then in the waiting room, which is the waiting room is more about being more aware of your physical health, you know, breast cancer and you know what I'm saying, being more proactive. So within the waiting room, it was Tashina Arnold and Lisa Ray that directed. So I was a part of the camera team. And so let me tell you, when you asked about what goes into it, what I learned the most was on the independent projects I worked on, where I operated many hats. What I learned the most from working on those projects was just how much work I do on the other projects that are more independent, right? Because on there, um, everyone has a role, and you are, I won't say you are not allowed, but it's kind of shunned. I don't know. It was kind of weird because it's like you, okay, if you do lighting, I'm like, okay, well, let me move this light. And people were like, no, 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 you can't touch it. And I think a lot of it is, because of hazard and just they want to make sure everyone's safe. But I was so used to, okay, I'm the director of photography, but I also move the lights. I also, do the audio if necessary. Here, if your role is camera, that's what you do. You know what I mean? That's what you do. And so, but I will say everybody, it worked like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
Everybody, still works together, still collaborating. You may not move the light, but you still would say, hey, we need to do this with the light or whatever. And then that team would then do it, right? And then everybody, it was still a family atmosphere. It was such a great experience. Now, the film that I was DP on, the last film that I worked on, was a romantic comedy called We Go Deep, that was written and directed by Marlon Green. It's a very funny film. I was director of photography there. And usually the director of photography works a camera, which is, the primary camera. So, and that's consistent with both. So like, the director of photography on the BET set also operated the camera, but they had different DPs. So some everybody worked a little differently, but for the most part, the DP works the camera. And so as a DP on We Go Deep, I did work the camera A, but I had a great team, and that Motion Pixels Media was the team that worked on that. And Sabrina came on as a fashion consultant. We'll just leave it at that, because that was like, great times, interesting and great times. But yeah, so Sabrina came on as a fashion consultant and helped us with that. And we're just waiting for it to drop. At this point, it's in post-production, so we're just kind of excited for when it drops, so everybody can see it. And it's funny. It's funny. When you're filming, you're not really sure if it's funny. You're like, is this gonna be funny? Right. But then when you sit back and you look at it, you kind of be like, okay, yeah, that was funny. If you can laugh at your own stuff, it's fun. I mean, it's fun. I mean, because I normally don't. When you edit or look at something 1,000 times, it becomes so unfunny. But if you're able to sit back and still laugh at something, then it's like genuinely funny. And it's genuinely funny. I mean, I don't expect nobody to be killed over, what I'm saying, and laughing along. But you will find it very enjoyable. And it's very insecure, run the world, Harlem ish. So, if you think about some of those comedies or whatever, it's like that.
Yeah. I'm excited to see your work.
Insecure-ish. Yeah, it's very insecure-ish.
Yeah.
And it takes a unique perspective on dating and stuff like that. Yeah.
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 I can't wait to see it. I'm
We
excited.
all saying, wait, man, we're waiting. We're waiting. We're like
No,
chomping at the bit, right?
I know. I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's shot pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I will always be worried about that. I'll be like, God, I wonder if it looks good from a shot perspective. That's just the DP of
Yeah,
it.
that's
You
why I
know?
said I'm excited to see your work. I mean, I'm sure the show, just because I mean, because I was there, so I kind of know like the ends of the story and what the story is about.
Yeah.
But to see it all come together, like that's what I'm excited to see because I was there, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like I'm not
And
really watching it like a show. I'm watching it like as an employee of the show
right.
of the
And you know what
movies.
I really, yeah, you know what I really learned
Mm.
working on that and then also working with BT. I learned how important the art department and people like you, Sabrina, are. Because I've been on movies where I've not directed, but I've been assistant director or DP, and the shot looks good from a framing aspect, but I always felt like something is missing. And then when we got on We Go Deep, people like you and the director would look at something and be like, I don't like it because it got a blank wall in the back. We need to put a plant there. We need to push something over and we need to put something there. You know what I'm saying? And then mastering a shot, right? Kind of like doing a pan or a roll into a shot. Like if you guys ever look at a movie, and I don't want to spoil the movie looking experience for people because it's spoiled for me because I look for everything. But like how you can see that movement from like a dolly or something, coming in. And so I first got introduced to that with We Go Deep because as the director of photography, my job is to frame the shot. My job is not to worry about if there's a plant there or if something's there. It's to frame it. And so I never really thought about it. But then when I would look and I'd be like, damn, it does look so much better now that you moved that plant there.
Yeah.
But then when I got to BET, the art department was awesome. It was all about that. Like they looked at everything. They looked at every picture on the wall. They looked at everything.
Yeah.
And when you go back and look at the shot, you're sitting there like,
oh, yeah.
wow, okay, I get it now. So now it's almost like if I do any other movie, I'm gonna be thinking about that. I'm gonna be looking around, be like, yo, can we throw something over here? But I think that's good because a lot of people, especially when it's independent grassroots projects or whatever, they're not really thinking about that. They're not really thinking about props and setting a set. That is believable. And we really pushed it with We Go Deep because, I read the character descriptions, and if you're going to tell me that this is a 30-somethings black independent woman or whatever, she can't be living in a place that looking like she's in her mama's basement.
Right.
It's not gonna work. It's got the look. It's got the look.
It needs to make sense.
And it needs to be modern because again, millennials and young people live differently. So if you're appealing to that audience, it needs to look like that. And so, God, I learned that. I kind of learned it with We Go Deep, but then BT reinforced it because they took it on 1,000. Like, yo, it was on 1,000, and the director, I just, he kind of had my same kind of thinking, where he looks at some of the abstract stuff. Like I'm the type of person, even though I'm not a photographer, I love abstract photography where people can see something and capture it, and it tells you everything about that night. It could be a party, and they capture something, and it helps tells the story of the night. Like you could look at the images and be like, now I get the story. It helps tells the story, and people don't realize how art really helps tells a story in a movie.
Right. Yeah.
It really does.
I get it.
I'm going all over the place, Sabrina. I'm sorry.
No, I love it.
Hopefully there's some people out there that's inspired that have been thinking about it and and can pick up on some
I'm
nuggets.
sure. I'm sure. Because this is behind the scenes. This is information at the end of the day. This is information that I don't know. This is information they don't know. We've never been director of photography. We've never shot a whole movie before. We've never been on, well, I have, but I'm just saying there's people that's going to watch this and say, I've never been on a movie set. I've never really talked to someone that's interviewed over 3,000 celebrities and has his work on BET and you know what I'm saying, and Hulu and Netflix and all these places and done the Oscars and like, yes, they're inspired. Trust me, I'm inspired. And that's why I have you here tonight, because I'm inspired by you, because I know.
Well, keep inspired, Sabrina, because we try and get to the Met Gala, baby.
I don't get there.
That's something I haven't done.
And I feel like put it in the universe. You just put it in the universe.
We're getting to the Met Gala, baby. Keep inspired. And guess who doing the interviews?
I am.
That part.
Hi, how are you? My name is Sabrina Seoul. I am here with MadFlavor TV. I am interviewing Kim Kardashian. Kim. So how are you and Pete? Okay.
Exactly. Look, we're gonna be like, it's gonna be like, Kim, I love your outfit, but you know what is missing? It's missing a Sabrina Soul belt.
Yeah.
That's what it's missing.
I'm gonna send you a belt, Kim. Right. What's your address,
belt.
girl? What's your P.O. box? I'm gonna send it to you, girl. Okay. I'm gonna send you one. I'm gonna send your sisters one. I'm gonna send Courtney one. I'm gonna send all y'all a belt. Okay. So let me ask you. No, honey, and I'm serious. I'm serious. Where your publicist? I need your card. So because
somebody said why Kim. We say why Kim because she always kills it at the Met Gala. Love her or hate her, she does kill it at the Met Gala. We can't take that away from her now.
And let me tell you, if I get a chance to interview Kim Kardashian, that means I've made it, people. I've made it. Okay.
And she would wear that damn belt. I know she would.
Honey, and if I'm going to wear the belt to the Met Gala and I'm going to interview Kim with the belt. I'm going to be like, Kim, you could take the belt I got on right now. Like, here you go, Kim. Here you go. Here you go, girl. Here you go. Here go the belt. You can have the belt. You can have the belt. I'll send you some more belts.
Right. And they go, look, and then as soon as she take that belt, they go Access Hollywood right there. Click, 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 click.
Exactly.
And that belt's going Gaddy. Look at that belt going Gaddy.
Right. Yeah. Jay from another round said, Riri, absolutely. As soon as I'm done with Kim, I'm going to be like, all right, Kim, we good. I'm going to be like, hey, Rihanna, how the baby, girl? How is the baby?
Riri does kill it too. Now, you're right. Another round. You're right. We should have said Riri. Because she killed it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So at the end of the day, if Malik is there, if MadFlavor is there, honey, we interviewing everybody. It don't even matter.
And we put in the interview, so if is when now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We have manifested it. We have put it in the universe, and it is what it is. It is what it is. Spirit fingers. So what do you love most about your job, Malik?
I still love, you know what? I won't necessarily say it's the most, but when I think about it, I still love seeing something that I created, that a vision that I took, seeing it on the screen. I still love that, but I also love seeing others that have started or that have worked with us also on the big screen. And doing things. So I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still love that. I still get a kick out of it, of that part, because again, it's just confirmation that that I wasn't crazy. That sometimes you look at stuff and be like, did I just waste 20 years of my life on something? And then you see those things and be like, nah.
No, you didn't.
It wasn't wasted. It was exactly what, like I said, what God had ordained and made the steps for me to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think my life would have been pretty boring if I did not have MadFlavor and all the people that were involved in it. because
Absolutely.
we had a whole lot of laughs and good times.
We did.
A
We
whole lot
did.
of laughs and good
A
times.
lot of hard work. A lot of
A
hard work.
lot of hard work.
It was
Yeah.
fun. It was fun because we have moments like this now that we're able to look back and talk about it, smile about it, laugh about it, and appreciate those times. So, all right, Malik, what do you like least about your job?
What do I like least? You know what? So, there's another side. The other side of the coin of what we were saying is, and it's not that I like it least. I probably say it's the most. It can be frustrating.
Mm.
I'm so passionate about it, and in my mind, and again, I said I'm a Taurus. I'm stubborn. And I did see your comment, Victoria. I know you're a Taurus too. I'm May 4th, but I'm a Taurus. I'm stubborn and I'm headstrong, and so what frustrates me the most is when somebody comes to me with an idea, or when someone comes to me, with something that they want to do or whatever. Um, I'm 100 miles and running, and I give 150%. And there are some people who will let you run 100 miles and will let you invest in 150%. And they sit and they are, and I won't say they're sitting back and doing nothing, but they aren't matching my energy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what I've had to learn is to temper my enthusiasm, curb my enthusiasm, because not everybody is able to run as fast as I am when they tell me about an idea. And so what I've learned is I see why lawyers tell you, when I'm thinking about your case, I'm charging you. Because I will sit there, like somebody will come to me and say, hey, I want to do a music video. They'll send me the music. And I'll sit there for hours listening to the song, coming up with concepts, doing the whole 9 yards. And then I may not hear from them for another 6 months. And I have invested so much brain energy in it that I'd be like, why the fuck did this person waste my time? But really, a lot of people come to me when they're not totally ready.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably not the least, it's not the least part that I don't like. It's the most frustrating. People come to you when they're not really ready and they're trying to throw out fillers. And I'm not a fillers person. When you come to me, I'm assuming you're ready and I'm already moving.
I
I'm
charge
already
for that.
moving.
I charge for that. So when people say,
Yeah.
I,
And people do charge for that.
I do, like, before, like, I'll sit and I'll talk to you, the consultation, like with your ideas, I'll talk to you for free. But if you say, let's just say I want a pair of leggings, I want a pair of money print leggings, and I want the print to kind of look like this. So before I even hit money leggings, search Google, that's already my fee just to look for the leg.
Yep.
Now, if I don't find exactly what you're looking for, you still had to pay me for those 3.5 hours that I had to look for those leggings. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, and because I didn't charge at one point, and I'm like, and then like you said, 6 months later, you don't hear from him. And I'm sitting there looking hours and hours and hours for these money leggings, this print. And then you like, you know what? I found them on Shein for $13. I'm gonna just get them ones. What?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, you know what? And yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That is the most frustrating. Another round is with us on that, but that is the most frustrating
yeah,
thing. And so and I know part of it's me.
yeah.
Part of it's me because I push and I believe in what and I buy into the Kool-Aid so easily. I buy into the Kool-Aid. That's an old saying, Jesus. But I
Honey,
buy into the Kool-Aid so easily.
you need to have somebody like me that charges every time I got to get a scoop of sugar. I'd be
I'm
like, so what
learning.
you want exactly, so I can type up your ticket and send you your invoice? Like,
I'm,
don't play with me.
look, I'm learning. Lord, I'm learning. I am learning.
I be like, don't play with my emotions. Okay, so what projects are you working on right now? And if you can share, would you like to share what they are?
Yeah. So like I said, I think I can share because it's on IMDb.
Mhm.
So sometime here in July and in October. So I think October is the waiting room. So sometime you will see, you'll see four short stories by BET Her presents The Couch in the Waiting Room. And so, you may see my name stroll up there in the credits, but I guess those are done. Currently, right now, I am editing a reality show project. Oh, this is going to shock some people. It's going to shock some people. um,
Funny.
but it's not a dating show. It's not a love and hip hop type show. Um, no, it's not 11. Well, maybe I should watch 11 Hip Hop before I say that. But I don't think it's 11 Hip Hop type show, but it's got some drama. It's got a little bit of drama, not a whole lot, but it's really just funny. It is like a reality show that when you look at it, like I look at some of this stuff and I just laugh like, yo, this is really funny. so I worked on I worked on that pilot. We're in post production right now. Um, I should probably have it done by May, and then we're going to move into we're definitely going to move into marketing and distribution phase of it. I guess if I say one of the networks we're looking at, well, I don't want to jinx myself. They say don't speak, don't
Yeah,
in this
I was
business
about
you
to
don't
say,
want to jinx
talk
yourself.
about it.
So
Yeah.
we'll be looking at some distribution for that. Like I said, there's so many platforms. Worst come to worst, you know what I'm saying? We'll just build a platform to put it on. How about
Honey,
that?
there's somebody just, it's funny because, and just to put this out there because it's relevant to what you're saying, I was watching a YouTuber. So there are a couple of different YouTubers that I do watch, just like they have regular vlogs. It doesn't have nothing to do with reality TV. These are just regular people that are YouTubers. And there was this one girl, she was talking about how she was sponsored to watch a YouTube channel and they paid her to talk about it on her YouTube platform. But it
Right.
was a series of shows.
Nice.
And I'm not going to talk about it because I'm not sponsored and they didn't pay me. So I'm not going to. So what it is that show, she talked about it on that platform and it's a series of shows and you can only find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's just a thought. So there's always
Exactly.
platforms and places where you can put
Oh
your
yeah,
work
I've spent
in.
some time just kind of educating myself on platforms and distribution and
Yeah.
licensing and stuff like that. So I'm confident that it'll get picked up, and it's something that right now that is not on TV. It's something right now that is not on TV. There's a show that's maybe kind of close, but not close. I'm only saying it's kind of close only because of what it's centered around. But it's not even close. It's not even close. So that's right, Tiffany. You start your own network, and trust me, it can be done. It can be done. So that is something that I'm considering. Trust me, I have been thinking about that as well. So we got that. And then a couple other people have asked me, about working with them on their projects. And so again, until the ink is dry, until the ink is dry, although I've already expended some brain waves thinking about it and already coming up with stuff, it's one of those things. And then I am also working on a wrestling show, C3W Wrestling, which is a independent wrestling league owned by African Americans. Two black guys own it, and also DJ Quicksilver is one. So let me take that back. Three owners: Casino Hayes, Richard Thompson, he goes by Richie Fingers, and DJ Quicksilver are the three owners in this wrestling league. And so right now it is streaming on IWTV, but Motion Pixels Media, we produce it, and so we've been working on that since December, and basically the first four episodes are done, and so we kind of broke up the series in four parts. So November, December, January, and February is the winter takeover, and then we just filmed April 10th, and that will start the spring summer takeover. So that's how we kind of broke it up, where in four parts. So it's like a 4-part series, and that we've been working on that. And they'll be at the Cannabis Festival at RFK Stadium for anybody who's in DC, April 23rd. I guess I'm plugging stuff now, but they will be at the Cannabis Festival. So if you are a wrestling fan, or if you are a cannabis fan and you plan to be there anywhere, just stop on by. Because there's probably more cannabis fans than wrestling fans. So,
I'm sure
you're going to be there for one reason or another.
Right. So this has been amazing. Thank you so much for being a part of the Missing Link. Please let everyone know, the viewers now and also the viewers that will watch the replay, where can they find Malik? Where can they find you on social media if they want to hire you to shoot their movie that they thought of? Because just like another round said, Issa Rae started on YouTube, and look at her now, and she might need a director of photography. Where can people find you?
Well, I'm gonna tell you where you can find me, but another round, Issa Rae just started her production company, and I believe that she's also launching a platform. So trust me, it's a good time for Black creatives, man, because these platforms didn't exist when we first started. You either had to be a part of the big three or big four networks, or you got lucky enough to be on like a BET, MTV, and then once Bob Johnson sold BET to Viacom, and it got under the umbrella of MTV and VH1 and all of that, it became harder for us to put our stuff out there. So it's a great time if you are a Black creative to create, because there are so many networks that's looking for content. And I'll tell you this: stop thinking just the United States. I went in silence for a reason. Stop thinking of just trying to get your content distributed in the United States. There Japan, Africa. I know some people think of Africa, and we still backwards thinking like it's third world, but there's Nollywood, which is huge. You look at Netflix and all the African programming that they're putting on from Nollywood. But anyway, that's not the question that you asked. I'm just throwing it out there. So Sabrina, you can follow me, MadFlavor TV, at MadFlavor TV, and it is not phonetic. It is MADFLAVOR TV. So we are Flavor TV, not Flavor. That would be Queen Latifah. We are Flavor. We are Flavor TV. So at MadFlavor TV. And then if you want to follow me personally, it's Malik Behind the Lens, at Malik_Behind the Lens. And so on there, I share a little bit more personal stuff. I'm still from the 90s, so I still lay my clothes out on the bed. So, I started taking pictures and was like, yeah, I'm about to go to this event, and I'll be laying my clothes out, because I still do that anyway. I think I laid this out before I put it on.
Yeah, somebody said they like the white jacket.
Thank you. And so, and then Facebook, the same thing, MadFlavor TV. Twitter, same thing, MadFlavor TV. I'm not good with Twitter, so if you tweet me, it may take me months before I even notice that I got a tweet.
Right.
I'm getting better at Instagram. I'm not the best, but I do respond to that very quickly. And then Facebook. And then we also have the website, MadFlavorTV.com. Don't kill me. I need to update it. I do need to update it. So I'm like the writer and the producer and the everything. So the website tends to go unchecked or not updated because it takes time to sit down and write articles, to be honest. So anybody who's a writer who loves to write, and like, hey, I would love to go to Summer Spirit Fest with Erykah Badu and Anthony Hamilton and Method Man and Redman, plug. Anybody who's interested and you're willing to write about it, then hit me up. I can get you in, but I need look, here's the thing, you gotta write about it because publicists and people always come back to me and be like, where can I find that, like they used to do, and I don't want to be like, because then the next time they'd be like, we ain't inviting you. You ain't right. You ain't give us no coverage. It's all about the coverage. So if you are a writer and you're really serious about writing, hit me up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The website needs your help.
Yeah. You heard him. You heard him, guys. Slide in Malik's DM.
Right.
Definitely
help. In exchange, I'll get you in the events.
And he will. He will. He is the man. He is the plug. He is the plug.
The way these ticket prices are set up, I mean, and every once in a while we get some sponsorship, and I throw it to my people. So when we get sponsors, I throw it to my people. I don't keep nothing for myself.
Absolutely,
and that's the truth.
Thank you so much, Malik, for being here with me. Thank you for this amazing interview. Thank you for being a part of The Missing Link. Thank you to everyone that was in the chat tonight. Thank you for everyone that viewed this tonight and will watch the replay. I appreciate you so much. If you have not subscribed, definitely subscribe. Make sure you click that notification bell so every time I post new content, you will be the first to know. Don't forget to like this video on your way out. I would so appreciate it. And don't forget to comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of The Missing Link, what you think about everything that's going on. Who would you like to see next on The Missing Link? I would so greatly appreciate it. And also too, it would help me with, the algorithms, and it also help me out with not trying to stress myself out about who am I going to have next. But we do have an amazing lineup coming your way. And again, thank you. I love you guys so much. You know that I do. I love you so much. Thank you for rocking with a sister. Thank you so much, Malik. I heart you guys. And until the next week, see you later.
I appreciate you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. And you're doing a great job. Love it. Love it.
Thank you.